Hello everyone, welcome back to Empowerment Podcast. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for choosing us as a choice of podcast. Please make sure that if you haven't subscribed to our socials, you do so. We are on Facebook as Empowerment Podcast, also on Instagram as Empower_podcast, also on YouTube as Empowerment Podcast. And please, if you wanna subscribe, if you wanna contact us directly, talk to us, get some advice, suggest any kind of topics you want us to deal with, feel free to do so on this number, our WhatsApp number, which is 065-615-6641. The number is 065-615-6641. We are approaching the end of the first month of the year. Hope you guys have been having a good time on the first 3 weeks of January. Yes, we're still under the pandemic, and yes, we still have to keep the regulations that have been put in place to keep our loved ones safe. And so please do adhere to them. Please do keep them. Because you see, this thing about this thing is that you can actually carry it somewhere if you're not keeping the rules, if you're not sanitizing or keeping social distancing. You can carry it somewhere to someone that will be actually affected, and that might be very dangerous for them. But you can also escape. But so let's keep the regulation. Let's make sure we practice good hygiene. We wash our hands regularly. We keep social distancing, and we always wear our mask whenever we are in public. And we just want to pass our condolences to those families that have been affected by this pandemic. We just say, pray that God will just give all of you guys comfort. It's a hard time, but better days are coming. So we've been talking about becoming an agent of change under the series called Just Do It. And today I just want to be just direct, if I may put it like that, direct and straightforward. On the Just Do It, we want to say activate, or we say release your potential, which means that, all these things that we are talking about, how about you start doing them? We stopped last week and we actually said, let's stop and reflect and try to see where we are, so that we know where we are going or how to go forward. Because, it's very important to stop and pause and reflect in order to project, or reflect in order to go ahead and go forward. So hopefully you ask yourself some few questions while you stop and pause. If you haven't actually listened to that episode, I suggest you can go back and listen to it, since it's still up there, it's still available. But yeah, if you have not practiced this discipline in your life of taking time and pause and resting and looking back in order to look forward, not to look back and then be depressed. There are two kind of looking back. There are people who look back, they become depressed. But I'm saying look back and tell yourself to see where you're going, and look back in order to go forward, in order to make informed decisions that will help you to become better, a better version of yourself. Remember, when we started off this thing of becoming an agent of change, we kept saying that the change is possible. And in order to change your world, you have to change your mindset, you have to change your attitude. You have to embrace positive values in order to create a positive culture around you, in order to create a positive influence around you. So yes, change is very much possible, and I just want to keep emphasizing that. And remember the quotes that I actually shared with you guys. For me, this quote is actually like a quote of the month, the quote of January, basically. A quote by John Maxwell, which says, transformation is possible for anyone willing to learn and live by good values and value people and collaborate with others to create a positive value culture. We said that from this quote we learned a few things. We learned that change is something that is possible. Change is something that we do not react to it, but we can actually respond, which means that we are in charge of how we respond to it. We're not gonna be influenced by it, but we're gonna influence our own environment. And we talked about the willingness to learn and to live by good values, to try to discipline ourselves by good values each day. And last week I talked about the thing that sometimes we make, which is a mistake, which is to procrastinate and overestimate the future or overestimate tomorrow and undervalue today. We keep pushing things forward, saying I'll do this then, or when it's like this I will do it. But I want to say today, tell yourself that you can do it right away. But there are a few key principles that you need to understand in terms of saying releasing your potential or activating or just starting to do it now. I like to compare potential to a seed, a fruit tree seed. In the fruit tree seed, there's actually the fruit itself and the tree itself in the very small seed. And why do I say this? It's there because when you put the fruit seed on the ground and you nurture it, it grows and it becomes a tree, and then it becomes a fruit. And within the fruit, there's another seed which also has the ability to replicate and bring more fruits. But the principles we are learning from this example I'm making here is that you are like your potential is like a seed that needs the right kind of environment and the right kind of information to come to it in order for it to bloom and to become what is within it, or the potential that is within it, in order for it to release the potential which is its fruit and the tree. So we're going to be looking at that thing, and in fact I believe that we actually touched on a few of these things when we were looking at the series called People Factor, because one of the influencing principles in terms of releasing your potential is that the kind of environment that you are releasing your potential in, is it good or is it bad? Because you can try to release your potential, but you may find that you are around toxic people that are toxic, people that are putting you down, people that are not allowing you to become the person which you are intended by God to be. So you have to also be aware of that thing. Also, you can also self-destruct yourself. When it comes to releasing your potential, you have to be aware even yourself what kind of information you are receiving, what kind of nutrients you are putting into yourself. Are you putting nutrients or are you putting poison as well? Now I'm talking about what you are putting in your mind. Hence, we've been talking about developing a positive mindset, a positive attitude, and living by good values. But how do we actually do all these things and make sure that we are not depositing poison in our lives? It has to start by starting, and it has to start by starting. Yeah, it sounds weird, but yeah, it has to start by starting, which means that you have to do it daily. for long time. One of the myths, if I may put it like that, one of the myths in terms of practicing good discipline, people, they think it's going to be automatic. There are people that say you have to go for 21 days or have to go for a certain number of days. It's not a matter of the number of days. It's like what I was saying last week. Do not overestimate the future and underestimate the present. So to do it, you have to understand that daily you have to be disciplined. You have to take it one step at a time. That's how the success actually goes. You take it one step at a time. One day you are just taking the first step, and then the next and the next, and then before you know it, you have become the person that you have been intended to be. And this is a journey which all of us are in. But now, as we are becoming agent of change, releasing our potential has to be intentional. Releasing our potential, we have to be aware of the environment that we are in. We have to be aware of the kind of information that we are getting, the kind of nutrients we are allowing to come into our system in order for us to activate positive influence. So yes, I will be continuing from this part next week, talking about the principles that we can look to apply when we are releasing our potential. And as always, please make sure that you do check out our other shows. We have Power Mondays, we have Empowerment Talk Show, we have Living a Victorious Life, we have Pioneers of Greatness, we have Youthful and Impactful, and now we have a show called Soulful Talks by Thandazani Zulu, and as well as Nokbongwa Mkhabela, aka Miss Friday. So I'm sure you're gonna enjoy that show very much. Make sure that you go and tune in and listen and be blessed. Until next time, guys. Remember, change is possible. Remember, you can influence your environment. You just have to start by changing your mind and changing your attitude, and also change yourself. And before you know it, the people around you will be influenced by your behavior, and you will have a positive culture around you. Until next time, stay blessed.